Since last Friday, I have been holding on to an AMD put swing that I went ahead and I entered off a very clear daily supply level around $187 per share. Today, my patience has been rewarded. I make over $17,000, over 100% swing trade on this AMD after sitting through some drawdown. The peak drawdown of this trade, which I will share with you guys in today's video, was around $3,500. So I had to sit through about $3,500 in losses as I continue to maintain this position. In today's video, I want to talk through why I maintain this position, why it was so important to maintain this position, and what was the level and what was the idea behind maintaining the trade and not exiting just because we are down on the position. This was crucial to come out on top on this trade, and this is something that I see a lot of people struggle with. They will take their positions off because they are red. They are not abiding by any type of game plan. They are not following any type of key levels. This key level on AMD, which I will share with you in today's video, kept me in this trade, and that is why today I get to make this video and I get to profit the $17,000 over 100% on the downside on AMD. If you guys have been following me on Instagram, on X, you know I've been talking about this trade, so make sure to go ahead and do that. And of course, if you're part of the Discord community, first of all, congratulations. We talked about the entry on this trade last Friday, and if you've been holding it with me, this was the payday that we were expecting. So let's go ahead and break down this trade for you guys that are watching here on YouTube. Let's talk about why I entered, why I held through drawdown, and where I continued to take profits as AMD was moving lower. So guys, this is the daily chart on AMD, and if we look to the left, if we go back to around the March time frame, we can see that there was a very clear double top rejection on AMD around the $187 per share level. The exact high of this area was 187.69. The exact high of this candle right here was 187.24. So I had my level at that 187.69, and I told the group that I'm going to try to fade this double top rejection right here, and I am going to remain in the position as long as we stay below the very clear double top rejection on the daily chart. Now, if you guys are familiar with time frames, which I hope you are, a daily chart rejection is very important. A daily chart level is very important. It's more important than a 2-minute, a 5-minute, a 15-minute. It's a daily chart rejection level, and that's when I have most confidence in a level rejecting or potentially holding. So I'm looking at a daily chart double top rejection around this 187.70 area, and I see AMD last week start to show rejections at this level again. So if we zoom into last week and also into this week, let's just go ahead and zoom into this right here. We can see that what AMD started to show us. This was right here on the 10th. That is back on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of last week. So Wednesday of last week, we saw a rejection come in right at that daily chart high. Next day comes around, that's Thursday. Well, look at what happened there, right? Another daily chart rejection right there. So 2 days in a row, AMD could not get above that previous daily chart supply level, that previous daily chart double top around that 187.70. Friday comes around, and look at that again. Another daily chart wick, another daily chart rejection at the exact same level. I went ahead on Friday, I entered this position, and I told the group that as long as we're under that very apparent triple top over the last 2 trading days, both Wednesday and Thursday, I am staying in this position and I have to maintain it until this either stops me out or I profit on the position. So I went ahead and I entered that on Friday, and I'll go ahead and show you guys right here in the community where we got in. You can see right here, I'll zoom in right here. You can see in the community holding some AMD July 19th 180 puts over the weekend. Stop is over the triple top around that 187. I had it at 187.30. I was willing, you can see on this chart, it's around 187.70. At the time, I was watching 187.30. You can see the chart that we provided, and of course, I will go into detail a little bit deeper here. Every day since that entry, giving updates to the group, right? You can see right there, remaining confident on this trade. Interesting triple wicks here on AMD, right at the 187.30 daily supply. You can see right there, look at the daily supply. That was keeping that AMD lower. Held that over the weekend. You can see right here. This was on Monday. We talked about that. Staying short, AMD July 19th 180 put. Staying short, giving updates. Update on the hourly as we started to break that trend. Yesterday, taking some profits off. And today, we got paid off. We got paid off big time. This was yesterday, but today we got paid off even further. And so we talked about this trade there. You guys, if you follow me on X, I'll go ahead and pop up some of those tweets that I talked about on my X. You can, of course, follow me there as well to stay up to date with these trades that I take. So back to this analysis. We can see right here, 187.70, we saw that triple wick come in. We saw that supply that really kept AMD lower. Now, I want to talk about the drawdown. Let's start with the drawdown. Let's talk about my exact entry. Let's talk about the drawdown. Let's dive down a little bit deeper. And what I want to do here, guys, is I want to first show you the TradeZella. I want to show you my entries. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to pull this up right on my broker so that we have no questions of transparency. Let me go ahead and quickly pull up my broker and show it all in my actual broker on Interactive Brokers. All right, guys, so on the left side is my Interactive Brokers. This is straight from my trading account. And on the right side, you can see this is TradeZella, so we can match these up, and we can see that there's no funny business going on here. On the left side, you can see my entries and exits on AMD, which is right in this red square. And then right here, you can see the executions on TradeZella. So you can see that these match up perfectly. On July 12th, around 9:31, I took 36 contracts of the 180 puts for around $4.03. You can see that is right here. 18 and 18, that's 36 contracts at $4.03. That is my entry point on this position. My first exit was on July 16th. That was at 6:05. I took half off at 6:05, and you can see right there, we took that 6:05 exit. That was our first exit on the position. Then I took 2 off at end of day on July 16th. You can see right there, end of day, took 2 off at July 16th, which is right there. So we can see that lines up. Now, today, which is July 17th, is where the money was made. You can see that these contracts today, selling some at 11, at 12, at 12.78, 12.21, and 12.10. These contracts are now, if you look down here, these contracts are now down at $17. So obviously could have made a lot more money, but I was very happy with what happened on this position. So you can see, guys, this all lines up. We took about, if I go to the stats, you can see we took about 118% profit, about a $17,183 realized P&L on this position. So that is, just wanted to share with you that real quick, get that out of the way. That was the position that we took. And of course, that was the entry we took in the group together on that swing trade. So what I want to do here is I want to quickly break down the drawdown. I want to go down to the drawdown, and I want to share with you my entry and then how I was down on this Friday afternoon. So you can see I took my entry pretty much early morning on Friday. I was very confident in this trade. I told myself, take this trade. Don't care about some drawdown. Let this thing trade around. Let it sort of, if you have to go down a little bit, that's fine. As long as it's under that supply, you're staying in this trade. There's no questions about it, right? So I built that game plan, and I was strong-willed behind it. Very important. If you're going to enter a trade, you better be confident. You better stay in it. Nothing is going to take you out unless it breaks your game plan. No kind of emotional decisions, no kind of intraday micromanagement, no kind of staring at the P&L. Oh my God, I'm right on the position. I got to get out. Game plan, if it's still in the game plan, you stay in the trade, right? Easy as that. Got to be able to build that confidence. So you can see right here, my running P&L, I was down at the most about $3,900. So almost $4,000 was right at where I was going to stop out. It was almost there, right? We were almost at that stop loss, and I was down around $4,000 on this trade on AMD. Obviously, you can see I ended up profiting about $17,000. So 4, 8, 12, 16, that's almost a 4-to-1 in terms of the realized risk reward, about a 4-to-1. Of course, my plan was to be a little bit less, but the realized risk reward was 4-to-1, and I'll take that any day of the week. So you guys can see running P&L down about $3,900 to the running P&L peak, $17,235. Awesome. So those are the stats, right? Just wanted to share with you the stats, share with you how I was down, be honest and transparent about the drawdown I was in. Now, what I want to do is I want to jump down into these daily levels, deep dive into these levels, and talk to you about where that drawdown came in and why I maintained in the position. So right here, this is Friday. Let me go ahead and put on the after hour things. You can see right there. This is That Wednesday rejection, this is that Thursday rejection, and this is Friday right there. Wednesday, Thursday, sorry, that's a terrible T, and Friday. So Wednesday and Thursday, I was watching. I wasn't in. I was watching. I was looking to see what was going to happen at that 187.30 high. We saw that rejection coming on Wednesday. Very nice. Now, Thursday, we open the market. Look at that dive bomb off that exact same level, right? Exact same level. We saw two major sells off those two levels. Very clean. So coming into Friday, I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and enter this position. I could have done better. I could have waited for it to pop again and entered up here. There's no doubt about it, right? Definitely always improvement on every trade. If I had to go back at this trade and I had to improve, I would have said, all right, let's wait for us to test this again and then get an entry point up here, right? Entry point up here would have been pristine. Now, what I did was I pretty much came into Friday's open and I said, I'm going to enter AMD puts. I'm going to enter it. I'm going to hold it into next week. I see the longer-term idea. I don't care so much about the short-term time frames. I see it on the daily. I see it on the 4-hour. My game plan is short AMD under the previous double top highs. And as long as we are below that level, I'm holding the trade, right? So in my mind, I was okay in some drawdown. That was part of the game plan. I said, I don't really care so much about the entry point. What I care about is where the stop loss is and the larger term idea. So I entered that position pretty early. We saw this thing go against me, and we saw it push right back into that exact same supply level, right? 187.30. We saw Friday come into that level almost within cents of my stop loss. Almost stopped me out here towards end of day on Friday. And you can see the fade that came in again end of day Friday. Now, I've been talking about this in the live stream, and I want to talk to you guys about it here on the YouTube video. There was plenty, and I'm talking plenty of people that followed me on this trade, right? And they followed me, and they sat through drawdown, and they took their losses, right? They took their losses in this area. They exited the trade. They didn't believe in it. They didn't really understand why I was in the trade, right? And so this is a very good example, guys, and I'm being fully honest with you, even though I have a Discord community, even though, of course, you know, I want people to join and I want them to trade live with me and I want them to see what I do, I have to be honest and transparent with you on something. And it is that if you come into this community or you come into any community, whether it's mine, whether it's someone else on YouTube that you watch, and you follow trades, but you don't understand the idea and you don't understand the concept behind it, you are not going to find success. If you took this AMD trade with me and you stopped out of the trade before we saw that stop loss get hit, you are exiting because of emotion, because you're red, because you don't understand what's going on. You don't understand the game plan, right? That is so important here. And the only reason that I come out profitable is because I did not exit until I got stopped out. And I stayed confident, and I trusted that level. I trusted that that daily chart supply would keep AMD lower, and it sure as hell did. But if you are exiting here just because you're watching your P&L, you walk away from this trade with a loss. And so that is just a very honest and open thing that you need to realize if you are going to follow someone else's trades. You have to understand that, and especially with me, the way I trade, I'm not scared to draw down, right? What I do is I trust my levels. And if I have to sit through some drawdown while I still see my game plan play out, that is all part of the plan, right? That's all part of the plan, and I'm comfortable sitting through it. So you can see, once again, I think it's very clear that triple top high kept AMD lower. Now what I want to do here is I want to walk through the next few days and why I continue to maintain the trade. So here are the next few days. Very, very clean. We can look at the next few days that sort of followed after that Friday rejection. So let's talk about Monday. This is a new week. This is Monday. We walked into Monday's trading day. We held that AMD put over the weekend, and we can see that this same supply zone that I had on my charts rejected AMD lower, and we stayed now under that 184 level, and we closed the day at the low. Fantastic. Hold the trade. No concerns. Supply level, we're still under it. Game plan still valid, so we're going to go ahead and give that a green check, right? Perfect. Day's good. Down at the lows, rejected supply. Stay in the trade. Plenty of time still in the contract. Monday, good. Okay, we move into the next day. Next day comes in. We can see the previous lows 180, previous low from Friday, previous low from Monday, turning into a rejection at the open on Tuesday's trading day. We move lower all day Tuesday. We hold a demand around this 174.50, and we close the day lower, right? Lower than where we started, under 180. That's, again, green check. Fantastic. Take some profits off. I took half off that day. That was yesterday. But again, great, right? Game plan's intact. We're under supply. We're making lower lows and lower highs. We continue to maintain. We continue to maintain. We look to see what we can continue to get. We take some profits just to protect ourselves and just understand that, of course, anything can happen on the market. So we're going to, of course, take some profits. Next day, and that is today. And this is the payoff day. I wake up. I open my eyes around 6 o'clock. I roll over in bed. You guys know how it is. I roll over in bed. I pop open my phone. I'm looking at my phone in bed, and I say, oh, man, right? AMD, huge gap down in the pre-market. And I knew at that point that we have been holding a fantastic position. We get paid off today. Gap down into the 172 level, right? We hold below 172, and this thing has been tanking all day. Huge, right? Huge, huge, huge. Patience paid off, right? Following, just sort of understanding the intraday levels, knowing that we're making that lower low, lower high formation, know we're coming off that major daily supply, and just sort of understanding the entire plan behind the trade to stay confident and to understand what we're looking for in this position. Now, today I will show you why this 172 was so important. If we go to this hourly chart, you guys can see right here, 172, and I'll be fully honest with you, 172 was my target. I was not looking for much more than 172 here because I was basically just looking AMD to trade back down to this demand here, right? Fade that upside supply and trade back to 172 right here. Today, you can see we failed under that 172. We traded through this low volume area pretty much straight down. And on top of all of that, the failure that you're seeing right now under 166.50 is huge as well. So you can see here on 166.50, that previous high, look at how we failed under that 166.50, and we continue to slide into end of day. So this was my AMD trade. You saw how I stayed in that position. As long as we're under that daily supply, we talked about trusting that game plan, sitting through drawdown if necessary, having that stop loss and sticking to it. We talked about, of course, how to sort of intraday manage these positions. I have many videos on the channel about doing that. We watched those levels. We saw those levels stay under. We maintained the position. And today, we get paid off. So if there's something that you can learn from this video today, guys, it is that if you take a trade and you have a game plan, please stick to it no matter what. Do not trade your P&L. Trade the levels on the charts. The stock market and stocks and technicals do not care about your arbitrary stop loss idea. They do not care about your emotions. If you're down 20% on a position, the market does not care. The market is trading off of levels on the charts. And so you need to tailor your entries and your trade plans according to the levels on the charts. We cannot trade with some kind of 20% stop loss, some kind of $500 stop loss. It's never going to work. The market is trading off of levels that have been historical levels, and you need to trade off of them, and you need to tailor your positions off of them. You saw how we did that in this trade on AMD. I hope you learned something today. If you want to trade live with me every day, go down below. It says trade live with me in the description. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace out.